Welcome to Design to Help Your Business Grow. I'm your host, Randy Lynn Johnson with Pasley Commercial Interiors. You said, when you said warmth and cool, my mind went to lighting, which is a perfect segue because that's where we're headed now. When is it appropriate to use daylight bulbs? I don't like them, but I'm sure they have their place, and I'd love to hear from a professional.
Not as much as people think. I find too many people are using that daylight bulb on a daily basis. It does have its place. It does put out light that is like the sun. So I think that's what people use it for when they're just going to the store and they're buying something, is they think, I want it to be really bright. So they get that 5,000 Kelvin without understanding that it's actually got a color to it. And so that color is kind of a blue hue. And if you're not careful, you begin to tone everything in the room to that blue hue. Here's a great example. I was in a furniture showroom of a major manufacturer. I was at the manufacturer's showroom. This is why this is noteworthy, is because I kind of wanted to take the showroom manager aside and be like, hello. But I was with someone else, and we were looking at a set of chairs. And over the chairs, they had this like track lighting, and there was two different Kelvins of bulbs above them. So just a quick note, when I say Kelvin, if you're looking on the back of your light bulb box, it'll say, 2700K. Or sometimes nowadays it has a big range, with a red side and a blue side. And that's where they list the Kelvin, and that's the color temperature of the bulb. Okay, so back to the showroom. We're standing there and we're looking, and it's two chairs. They're exactly the same in the same fabric. And the person I was with said, oh, look, it comes in beige or gray. And I was like, no, it comes in beige. And they were like, no, that's gray. And I was like, well, it looks gray, but it's because of the lighting they have over it. And they were like, no. And I was like, just look up. And we looked up, and you could see that the bulb over the chair that looked gray was a 5,000K, and the one over the beige chair was a 2,700K. And so it completely changed the look of that chair. So that choice makes a huge difference, especially if we're talking about comfort.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you wanted to feel warm and glowy, you definitely don't want to use 5,000 Kelvin.
Absolutely.
2,700K is what the color temperature of an incandescent bulb is. So most of us in America have, in our history, been used to that kind of color temperature for the most part. I think that if you're younger and maybe you're 15 to 20 years old, you've experienced a lot more LED bulbs and even fluorescent in your childhood and what you've been used to seeing. So you may be actually more comfortable with 3,000K. If you are from Asia and even parts of Eastern Europe, they actually used fluorescent bulbs for a long time, and they're tuned to be comfortable in 4,000 to 5,000 Kelvin. And it's normal, and that's what they feel comfortable with.
Sure.
So it really depends on where you're from to what you feel attracted to and what is comfortable to you. So that is a little bit subjective, but I would say in America, if we're talking about tuning business spaces.
Exactly. I was going to say, so if I'm thinking about a business, what do I need to do?
Well, the other piece to think about is the lumen output of the bulb is super important in a workspace. Matter of fact, we have standards that mechanical and electrical engineers have to, electrical engineers have to adhere to make sure we're putting enough light output for the purpose of the space. So a lounge is going to require less than an office will, because you're supposed to be looking at papers and all that. To get that lumen count, there is some thought that you might have to raise your Kelvin to get there. I know, we're nerding out on this now.
Okay, yeah.
All the way. But it really depends on the fixture itself, because you might be able to get to a lumen count that you need and still keep the color temperature you want. 3,000 is super safe for office spaces.
Okay.
Because you're not quite down to 2,700, which sometimes in LEDs can look yellow. And you're not all the way up to 35 to 4,000, which is going to look blue.
Right.
It's a nice in-betweener. So if you want to stay safe as a business owner, go for 3,000K.
Boom. Perfect. File that away, all you business owners who are listening. Next time you're in Home Depot or Lowe's.
Oh, yeah.
3,000.
Next time you're there, 3,000K. Another thing that they don't always put on the box, but I think is really important. So if you're actually going to tune a new space and you're going to invest in new lighting, check the CRI number. That is the color rendering index.
Okay.
It makes a huge difference because cheaply made lights will often be under 80 or at 80. But really, and what it does is it tones the light. So it'll look pink or green. And those are the two colors it actually leans to. There's a test that they do to determine that. And the best number you can look for is 90 or above. If you're hitting 90 or above, that is more of a white light. So it's not going to have a color to it.
Okay.
Again, this matters if you've spent time, you've got a branding wall, you've spent time tuning in your paint colors.
Yeah.
You have actually cared to design your space.
Yeah.
And then you go and get, whatever low-cost bulbs that, or lamps or even fixtures that are LED fixtures that were the bargain basement, and they have a low CRI, your whole space may have a pink hue. I literally walked into an office and thought they had painted the hallway pink, and it was the CRI of their hallway. Okay,
so if I'm understanding, CRI is a different thing altogether than Kelvin and lumen.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to hit them again quickly, CRI is the color rendering index. So if you think about this, the sun hits 100 on the CRI.
Okay.
So it means it's got all of the color in it. Your eye sees white, so you're seeing everything. But a low CRI or lower, so below 80 is terrible. And below 80, your eye's gonna be missing something, so it's gonna see that color. It's gonna see what it's missing.
Those cheap light bulbs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Kelvin is the temperature. So we're going to be looking from warm to cool on that, which is going to be seen as more yellow or warm glowy to cooler and more blue.
Okay.
And then lumens is actually the output of that lamp or fixture. And when I say lamp, I mean bulb. Yeah. How bright it's going to be in the space, how much light it's going to output to the space, There's delivered lumens. If you ever see that on a fixture, it means how many lumens are actually going to be delivered to a certain distance.
Okay. Yeah. Super. No, it's great. It's great. But all of that really does make an impact in how comfortable you feel in a space.
Oh, 100%.
So you have to just find that right combination of the things.
It is a balancing
act. And if I don't know it, I'm coming to you, Robin, because you know the things. In an increasingly competitive market, the merits of using interior design as a strategic growth tool can make all the difference in not just surviving, but thriving.
Hasley Commercial Interiors, designed to help your business grow.